crack myself up. I still haven't found my first Blanton's. That's different. I really like that. They're like together, like peas and carrots. That's funny. Sometimes accidents are good things. Peychauds or Peychauds or Peychaud. This is not what I expected. Hey everybody. Almost forgot my ice sphere. That'll keep it cold. Did you see how gorgeous it was? It came right out of that bag. Clear as can be. Beautiful, gorgeous ice sphere. All right, well, hi there. How's it going? I've had a day. I've had a week. Of course, last week we did not go live. We had to do it pre-taped. I had a gig out of town, so I got to go do a gig. I gigged, and that was several days long. And you know, I started on Monday, so that's Bourbcast night, and I didn't have any of my stuff. Well, I had my stuff with me because I was gigging, but I didn't have everything I needed, and you can't trust hotel Wi-Fi. And I didn't know if I was going to be going out to dinner with people that night. I had no idea. Turned out I didn't. So I could have done the Bourbcast from like the hotel bar. But if it's like the hotel bar we have here locally, I wouldn't want to do it from there. Their selection at the hotel here locally is terrible. They get all the big like 1.75 liters of crap. The lowest shelf bourbon, the lowest shelf vodka, the lowest shelf gin, the lowest shelf scotch. Why? Don't you care? All right, so why am I wearing Maumee Valley Whiskey Society? Well, because I'm gonna flex. So they've done a couple of picks. If you're not part of the Maumee Valley Whiskey Society and you're from Northwest Ohio, you really ought to think about joining, because they're the people who are doing the picks. Of course, you can't do like store picks and bar picks and things like that in the state of Ohio. You can do it if you're a private group, up to a certain amount, and the state gets its nose into it, and it's not always pretty, but they're doing picks, and that's the closest you're going to get outside of OHLQ picks in the state of Ohio. Now, there's a few groups doing it, but this is in my backyard. And so I decided to wear my Maumee Valley Whiskey Society sweatshirt to remind you to find their group online. You can do that through their website as well. And check them out and see if you can get involved in their picks, because they're doing several picks a year. And I happen to have two of them in front of me. One of them I don't know if I'm going to go get. They got a new one called, from Elijah Craig. I think it's a barrel proof, but they're calling it Pop Rocks. I am somebody who shies away from things with that sweet sound to their name, Pop Rocks. You know, like all the Maker's Mark stuff where they do like crumble cookie crisp or something. That just sounds revolting to me. I don't, bleh. I don't know. You might as well call it Grandma's Mothballs. No, I don't want it. So anyway, I've got a couple picks here that I'm really excited about. I did get a chance to go up and sit in their lounge. They've got a brand new lounge. It's really nice and really decked out. It's going to be great. And they've got a lot of nice whiskeys up there, so I got to try a few things. But I also got to try the picks that they chose that I purchased. The first of the two is this New Riff. You know I love New Riff single barrel. So this is a New Riff single barrel, and it is their pick of the New Riff single barrel, and it is delicious. It is fantastic. It is very, very good. I can't tell you notes now because it's been a couple of weeks ago that I picked this up. But I really, really like this New Riff pick, and it comes in a really nice bottle. The next one that I got from Maumee Valley Whiskey Society is this new Watershed. Now, I have never purchased anything from Watershed. I don't know. Maybe it's just that their labels aren't very attractive to me. You know, it just kind of seemed like a rinky-dink company. But I'll tell you what. I tried this one. This one is a single barrel select. It's aged 4 years. It's got their little logo on here. Trying to find the proof point on this one. Non-chill filtered, which you know I like. I don't see where it says you proof print. Oh, barrel strength right up on top. So, and I did get a chance to try this one too, and it's also very, very good. So I'm not going to turn my nose up at Watershed anymore. Now this is a single barrel proof pick. So they're not always going to be like this, but this one is very good. So yes, now I did, while I was away last week, I did get the opportunity to do a little bourbon hunting. And I found some stuff that I never thought I'd see, and I'm kind of excited about it. First, since we're talking about New Riff, I did pick up their Balboa Rye. I've heard nothing but good about the Balboa Rye, so I have one, and I'm going to be trying it sometime soon. And then I picked up this one, which I was really excited about. This is the Peerless Double Oaked Rye. Now, they do make a double oaked bourbon as well, but I got the double oaked rye, and I love the Peerless bourbon, and I did find one of those as well. But the rye is just a different creature altogether, and of the two, I wanted to try the double oaked rye. So I found this one, and then last but not least, I got my hands on another Larceny Barrel Proof. I was out of town when the big drop happened last week. I guess there was like Maker's Cellar Aged, and there was Elijah Craig Toasted, and there was Blanton's, and there was Weller Red and Weller Green, and the new blackened cask strength. There's a lot of stuff that came when I was out of town, but that's okay. That's okay. I found this one while I was out, and I'm happy about that. So this is the B523. So I'm looking forward to tapping that sometime soon as well. Okay, now let's get into why we are here. We've been doing the Bardstown series. Ooh, we got some watchers. Chris is watching. Austin. Hey, Casey. Thank you. Hey, Austin. I'm reading his thing. Larry's watching. Rondell's watching. Hey, I'm glad you're all here. Thank you for being here. The reason that we're here is because of the Bardstown series. We started off with Fusion, which was very good. Move this away. I had to do it this way again. I put the computer here instead of there because the mouse wasn't working. It's really... So we started off with Fusion. This one was one of those that I characterized as nice. And it is. It's a nice pour. I really like this one a lot. Very tasty. Very tasty. And then we went from that one to the Discovery series, which I didn't like as well. I thought it was a little rough off the neck, but you know, it's been over a week since I had any of this, so it wouldn't be a bad thing to give it another shot. And now tonight, we're going to move on with the Phifer Pavitt selection from Bardstown. And I have some info, but let's get her opened up first. Get her opened up and poured. This is going to be the one that's going to be difficult. The rest of them have been really easy. This one I can't find a tab on it. I think that's it there. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Now, last week, the other thing that really stood out on the Discovery series is this cork is heavy. So let's see about this one. Let's see. It's either going to be like the Fusion series and hard to get out, or it's going to be heavy. We'll see. Oh, it was easy, and it's heavy. It's a heavy cork. All right. Now, I'm not even going to let myself nose this until after I pour it. Decidedly different color than the other ones. Much darker, like a dark honeycomb. Then, you know, the other ones have had a typical bourbon-esque type of color. I'm going to leave this uncorked. I have a tendency to do that. You know, they definitely have more of a golden honey finish. This one it's more of a honeycomb. Definitely has some reds in it. I mean, not like you're seeing it swirl around or anything, but it's got a different color altogether, so this is going to be interesting. They do the Origin series, the Fusion series, the Discovery series, the Collaborative series, and the Distillery Collection. This one is a 9-year-old Tennessee straight bourbon whiskey polished for 18 months in Phifer Pavitt Reserve Cabernet Napa Valley barrels. It is Phifer, not Pifer, and not Baffifier. It's Phifer. By the way, the Tennessee whiskey, Dickel. Why does it always have to be Dickel? It's a 9-year, okay. All right. There have been 2 cycles of this one, one in 2019, one in 2020. This is the first one, 2019. This is a 9-year. The 2020 is a 10-year, but they both have the same mash bill. It's 84% corn. That's high. 8% rye. That's low. And malted barley, 8%, which is average-ish. It might even be a little on the high side. A lot of malted barleys, they run between 3 and 8. Sometimes they go up a little higher than that, but this one would be a little on the high side with an 8% malted barley. The Robb Report called this the best cask finished bourbon in 2020 and in 2021. By the way, the best overall bourbon for 2023 is Knob Creek 12. And I'm not going to argue with that. And the best cask finished bourbon for 2023 is the Angel's Envy Cask Strength Bourbon, which we've tried that. It's distillery. You can get it from Picks. It's good. Okay, so I'm not going to read the tasting notes. I haven't read them yet, so I'm not going to read them now. We're just gonna put it to the test. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay. So one of the things I learned when I was tasting wines was how well they grab the side of the glass. And although some wines have a higher alcohol content, they don't go much beyond 14 or 15% most of the time. Occasionally, maybe, but most wines stay 13% or lower. At least the ones that are from the craft wineries that I visited, and there were a lot. There were probably 40 of them that I visited while we were doing that series. But the difference is that with alcohol, it grabs the side of the glass because of the alcohol. With wine, it's because of the sugar. Now, this is rested for 18 months in a wine cask. So, it's a 9-year bourbon, then it goes into the wine cask for 18 months. So, it goes to say that there could be some of those residual sugars hanging on the side of the glass. Now, would it do it to this amount? I don't know. But we're going to taste this and we're going to find out more about it. I'm just giving it a couple seconds to open up just a little bit. All right. Let's give it the nose. Okay. It's actually really nice. The wine cask is present, but it's not too much. I mean, the Derringer from Rabbit Hole has got a lot more wine in the nose than this does. Still catching some caramels. It is fruit forward, so it's tough to find some other things. I'm getting some cinnamon. A little honey. I mean, it's fruit forward, but 18 months, it's not bad, really. I mean, I would have expected this to be a lot more fruit forward on the nose. I will read the 2 different things that I got on the nose now. I won't read any further. Their tasting notes. Okay, so they don't have nose notes, so I'll move down to what I got from Whiskey Wash. Their nose is caramel, honey. I got that. Milk chocolate. Ooh. No. Raspberry jam, yes, and oak. Yes. All right. What is it like on the palate? It's very soft. I did not check what the proof is on this one. It's 100 proof, 50% alcohol by volume. So it's 100 proof. I do not like the finish on this. Let's get into the notes on the palate though. All right. The palate is very nice. About like it is on the nose. There's caramel and honey, and still not getting any milk chocolate. Jam, oak. But then that finish. It's better this time than it was the first time. Much better this time than it was the first time. Hey Jordan, how are you? Good evening. Yeah, it's better this time. I got a mustiness on the finish the first time, and it just reminded me of stale tobacco. This one is a little better. It's actually significantly better until you get it into the long finish, and then long finish, you know, is not still better, but it's not great. I wish I could describe what it is. It's like stale bread, only it just tastes stale. How's that? And it hasn't been opened, and bourbon doesn't get stale. Now, it's wine barrels, so I don't know. Maybe the wine had already peaked. I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know if they let it dry. I would assume they let it dry before they pour in the Bardstown bourbon, actually the Dickel bourbon. Maybe that's why I don't like it, because I don't like Dickel very well. I like their bottled and bond, but that's the only one I've had that I've liked. I have other ones, and we'll try them in the future. I promise. Let's get back to it. Hey, Denny. How are you doing? You remember when you and I were together and we picked up that Bardstown Discovery? It's been a couple of years ago. Well, I'm doing the series now. Discovery was last week. I don't know if you... Yeah, it's Discovery. I don't know if you opened yours or not. I opened mine, didn't love it. It's okay. It's better than this one. Yeah. Bardstown Discovery Series. So the first one was Fusion. That was 2 weeks ago. Last week was the Discovery. This one is the Phifer Pavitt. And I'm not loving it. Got a note of iced tea. That's what I'm catching, is iced tea. Yeah. And then it evolves into some kind of candy. No. A throat lozenge. That's what it goes to. That's why I don't like it. The finish is like a throat lozenge. At least it was this time. So some people like the Jim Beam Red Stag. It's horrible. It's okay to use it in a mixed drink, but that's what the finish on this reminds me of, is Jim Beam Red Stag, which is just nasty. If you're mixing it with something, okay. But I like to taste everything on its own. Red Stag, might as well pop a Ludens. Actually, Ludens is better than Red Stag. But that's what this reminds me of, is a cough lozenge at the very end of it. Yeah, that's what it is. It's not stale. I mean, it's a stale cough lozenge. How about that? It's a stale Ludens. It's been in your back of your cabinet for 5 years, and it's started to get all crusty and melty and weird. Be careful, it'll act like a laxative. Like old bad chocolate. All right. One more of these, and then we'll put it on water and see if it does anything. Hey Ken, how are you doing? I'm not gonna give this one a good review. I don't hate it. especially on the palate. I don't hate it. I like it on the nose and I like it right on the palate. It's after that it goes sideways. Maybe that's why they only did it in 2019 and 2020. And as I get into it, it does get better each time. But that old, stale Hall's cherry cough lozenge. Is it Hall's? Do they do cherry? I don't know. Cherry. It's not Luden's, because Luden's is actually not bad. I don't know what it's awful. Although, it gets better with each time. All right. That time, right on the drag, I didn't like it. All right. So, somewhere here I've got water. There we go. I'm not going to drink a lot of this. All right. Give that a nice squirt, a little less than a milliliter. Again, I'm wearing the Maumee Valley Whiskey Society sweatshirt. This was given to me by a Whiskey Society member, Kevin Rutan, and I appreciate it. It's nice and warm. Not that I needed it to be nice and warm, but it is very cozy. And I got it. I'm wearing it because I wanted to remind you to check out their group. You can go to my Maumee Valley Whiskey Society. They've got a website that'll send you to their Facebook page and their group. And they're doing picks. I got this new riff that's fantastic. And I got one that I never thought that I would enjoy at all. The Watershed. This is their pick of that. Little logo down here. And it's really good. They do good picks. You know, the president of the group, Joe Carter, he looked at me when I tasted these and he goes, "We won't do a bad pick." And I'm like, okay. And he's right. They have not done a bad pick. They got one out now that I'm a little hesitant about just because of what they named it. So let me give you the tasting notes now. According to Bardstown, this is what they said on their site about the Phifer Pavitt. Voluptuous succulent with bold notes of plums, milk chocolate, and blackberries that beg for another taste. On the palate, I'll give it to them with the plums and the blackberries. Voluptuous and succulent, It doesn't have the mouthfeel for that. I mean, it's not bad. The mouthfeel's not bad. It's somewhere between thin and not thin anymore. It's that 100 proof point, I think, that's giving it to it, but it's just in between. It doesn't have the bold wine mouthfeel that I would like to have, and it doesn't have the bold bourbon mouthfeel that I would like to have either. And again, it's Dickel. It's a 9-year Dickel, which I'm not in love with. That didn't taint me. You know, like I said, I like the Bottle and Bond. I think their Bottle and Bond is fine, but this is Dickel juice, and I'm not a fan. And I've never had Phifer Pavitt Reserve Cabernet Napa Valley, blah, blah, blah. And I do like wine. I don't drink it very often, but I like it. I should like this, at least some. I don't know. Bill's watching. You maybe have this drink when you're sick. Cough drops on cough drops. You know, I wish you would have suggested that a couple days ago. Friday night I was fine. Saturday morning I woke up and was sick as a dog. Went to work anyway. Sick all day. Finally, about 10 o'clock at night, I took a couple of Tylenol. My fever broke and I was fine. I do not know. So, Denny says, drank the first one, restocked another Fusion. Thanks for the recommendation. The Fusion's great, Denny. I didn't know if you got the Fusion or the Discovery. Discovery I was a little disappointed in. But the Fusion I really liked. It was nice. So, all right. Pour. Cough drops on cough drops. Okay. All right, so this is on water. See if it improves any. I'll tell you, I'm getting warm in the sweatshirt. If I start to perspire, I'm sorry. All right. It did bring out a lot of flavors with water on it. I'm actually catching a little watermelon. It's funny the flavors you're going to get. It's just funny. You don't know what's going to hit your palate and where on the tongue it's going to hit you and why you're getting that flavor. I caught a little watermelon, a little sweetness, which is kind of nice. I like watermelon. And the finish isn't nearly as lozengey. Finish is much nicer on a little water. Much nicer. All right. This is a totally different drink on water. That sweetness is coming out, that honey's coming out. Little cinnamon. That black cherry, raspberry, whatever the hell it is, lozenge is now turned into fruit. It is not a disgusting lozenge anymore. So that gives me hope as to what might happen when this thing opens up. Because on water, it's actually pretty good. Even the finish is good on water. And the perspiration begins. This is a hot sweatshirt. I would take it off, but this is my branding for the evening. And I don't have a whiskey t-shirt under it. Maybe I'll just go naked. No, I'm not going to do that. All right. That turns into a pretty good pour on water. And I'm not kidding you. Neat. I didn't like it really at all. But on water, a nice, almost a milliliter of water, that changed it enough that I actually rather like that now. All right, let's do the last thing. And that's use my gorgeous ice sphere, which is gorgeous and stayed gorgeous thanks to the trick I learned, where you keep it in a OHLQ paper bag. Not the little one, the thick one. No frost on this ball. That's it. That's all I'm going to have. I'm getting ready for Sober October, so I'm limiting my consumption. All right. I could never make it as an actor. Do you see real tears? No, you see sweat. You see sweat. That's what you see. No tears, sweat. Now I want to give this time, oh, for crying out loud. I'm sorry. I just... Sorry, Mommy Valley Whiskey Society. And I'm sorry I have long hair. My haircut's not till Thursday. I was supposed to get it last week, but I was out of town. So, here I am, a long-haired hippie freak. I'm a hippie. This I like. This is fun. Although I saw a mugshot of a guy with like half of this. It's not as bushy and like mature as mine. It's featured on his mugshot page that I follow. Dirty looking little goatee hanging off his face. You just want to slap it off of him. It's like, no. If you're going to have a goatee, it's got to look like this, not that. I can be petty. All right. So this is the Phifer Pavitt on ice. I have to cook dinner after this. I promised the kids I would cook dinner after this. Okay. First thing that hit me was the cinnamon on that one. On ice, the cinnamon hit me right away. a lot of the notes went, they really were more sedate. The lozenge is back. Dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun. Cha. No, I don't. No. Clearly, the way to drink this one is with a little bit of water. Neat? No. On ice? No. Little water? Not bad. Can I recommend the Bardstown Phifer Pavitt? No. Is it redeemable? Yes. Could it fit in a drink? Hey, Michael. How are you, sir? We're almost done. Where you been? Could it fit in a drink? Yes. One place I think this would probably fit really nicely is in a New York sour. That's where you have, the bourbon and the wine. Excuse me. You pour the wine over a spoon so it layers on top. Now, I've got a bourbon barrel wine. Use this as the base, the bourbon barrel wine on top. That could probably be pretty good. But just as it is, no. The cork is on this one. That's where it's going to stay. I'll let somebody else try it and see what they think. Next week, the last of the Bardstown series, we're going to do the Prisoner. This is another wine cask that it sits in. Hopefully it's better than that one. I love port, sherry, and all these different rum and all these different... I like this experimentation that people are doing with these different casks. I like it. Not all of them are successful. This one, not so much. But let's try the Prisoner next week. I'll have more information. Oh my gosh, I'm sweating like a... Oh, you finish the sentence. I'm not going to finish that sentence. That's just really, really warm sweatshirt. Anyway, so I'll give you more information about this next week. The Prisoner by Bardstown. I don't know how many times they did it. The Phifer Pavitt, they did twice. The first time was a 9-year. The second time was a 10-year. They didn't do it again after 2020. I know it was really sought after in 2019, and people were going crazy over it, just like they do the Foursquare and the other ones now. But maybe they learned their lesson, and maybe it just didn't work. So we'll try this one. Bardstown continues to discover new things. They're doing new barrels all the time. The Discovery Series continues. The 8 is still on the shelves. Fusion 9 hasn't really made it to shelves yet. Discovery's up to 10, and they're still on Discovery 8 on the shelves. And I know this because I did some bourbon hunting last week. And everybody's still at 8, so the 9 hasn't even come out yet for either Fusion or Discovery that I've seen. This one was done in 2020. No, this one was done in 2020. The Prisoner, we'll see what I think of this next week. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Michael says, I am missing something. Coachella Valley Mike checking in. What happened to Thursday nights? I had to move it. I was switching because of an event that I was going to weekly, and it only met on Thursdays, so I had no choice but to change this to Mondays. And quite frankly, Michael, the response has been better on Mondays. So it gives you more time to decide on what you might want to drink this weekend. And you know, it's a day off for me. Well, not really. I do a lot of work. I work a lot. But it gives me a nice respite and gives me a nice reason to not work for the evening. Drink enough and I'm not any good to anybody anyway. So that's why. And thank you again for watching from all the way out there on the left coast. It's great that you're with us. I really appreciate it, Michael. I hope you spread the word and let people know about us. I don't know if they'll like me very much because my proclivities are somewhat different than those on the left coast. But I like to drink. This is a Napa Valley wine. Sorry. This is a Napa Valley wine cask. So, you know, right up your backyard there, buddy. Phifer Pavitt. Check that out. I know you out on the left coast love your $2 chuck. I think it's $3 chuck now. The Charles Shaw. He's the guy that comes in and gets all the grapes that nobody else wants, but they're the same grapes that everybody else gets. And he makes great wine. And he can sell it for nothing because it costs him nothing. Because he'll pick the grapes up off the ground. He'll use the grapes that the birds have eaten, you know, and he'll turn those into wine, and they're great wine. $2 chuck is what it was called, I don't know, years ago when I was out there the first time. I think it's $3 chuck now. Charles Shaw. But anyhow, this is Phifer Pavitt. Check it out, and let me know what you think of it. In the meantime, we will see you. This is not Phifer Pavitt. That's the prisoner. This is Phifer Pavitt. Casey, come on, man. All right. But this is next week. And I don't know if it's Napa Valley or if it's French or what the heck it is. I have no idea. But we will see you next week, and I do appreciate you watching, and thank you so much. And we're at 7 o'clock next Monday. 7 o'clock. And we will see you then.